by the degree of the compound. Now for 1 degree and 3 degree there will be no problem at all. But suppose we are given a 2 degree. Now 2 degree compound can be sterically hindered and cannot be sterically hindered. So if it is sterically hindered and the reaction conditions are favorable for SN2E2, then in that case, due to the steric hindrance, SN2 cannot take place. So therefore, in that case again what will happen is E2 reaction will take place. And similarly, suppose we have a 2 degree compound but it is not sterically hindered. So in that case, SN2 will overcome E2 mechanism. So now we have clearly seen that once the condition for SN2E2 mechanism are favorable, after that to decide whether SN2 or elimination product will be formed, one of the factor we have just discussed is the degree of the compound. The second factor we have over here is, suppose, that is temperature. Now basically higher temperatures favors elimination reaction and the lower temperatures favor substitution reaction. And when I say higher temperature, so there has to be a benchmark that from what particular temperature we are considering that it is a higher temperature. So that higher temperature is usually 150 degree. So anything above 150 degree Celsius will be considered as a higher temperature. That means in that case E2 will take place, then SN2. So higher temperatures favors elimination and low temperatures favors nucleophilic substitution reaction. Now the next factor again we have is the, like, suppose we are given a tertiary butoxide ion. We are given a tertiary butoxide ion. Now this ion is basically a weak nucleophile but a strong base, because it is sterically hindered. So a sterically hindered electron rich species has a very weak nucleophilic power than the basic power. So therefore, in the presence of the tertiary butoxide ion, what will happen is the elimination reaction 2, that is E2, will overcome SN2. So therefore, we have discussed few factors just now. One is the degree of the compound, second is the strength of the base or the nucleophile, and the third is the temperature. So basically, once you decide whether the conditions are favorable for SN2E2, then these are the few factors by which we decide that elimination will take place or substitution will take place. If elimination is taking place, then what will happen is the alkene will be formed, and if SN2 is taking place, then substitution product will be formed. Now why higher temperatures basically favors elimination reaction? It is because in the elimination reaction we have a base. Now basicity is nothing, it is the affinity for the proton, that is thermodynamically controlled, that means it is temperature controlled, whereas the nucleophilicity, which is known as the tendency to form bonds with the carbon, so that is actually being favored at lower temperatures, and it is a kinetically controlled property. So basicity is a thermodynamically controlled property and nucleophilicity is the kinetically controlled property. So now the next factor again we have is the type of the solvent. Now before we go into the SN1E1 comparison or SN2E2 comparison, let us see actually what role a solvent plays in a reaction. Now basically on the basis of the polarity we have two types of the, now basically on the basis of the proton present in the solvent, or not, we have two types of solvents. One we have is a protic solvent and the second we have is aprotic solvent. Now, a protic solvent is the one which releases H plus ion easily, whereas aprotic solvent is the one which do not have a proton. So now, if suppose I have NaOH, now we all know that NaOH is a base actually, because it releases OH negative, that is hydroxyl ions in the aqueous solution. But it can also function as a nucleophile. So OH minus can function as a base as well as a nucleophile, and that actually is being decided by the type of the solvent. Let us see how. So now we can see that OH minus has got two powers. One we have is the basic power, and the second we have is the nucleophilic power. Suppose we are given a protic solvent, and the examples of the protic solvent are like, we have trifluoroacetic acid, that is CF3COOH. We have H2O, that is water. We have methanol, that is CH3OH. We have formic acid, that is HCOOH. So these are the few protic solvents which has got